There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit,
in tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street-smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. Welcome to The Psychic and the Doc on the Transformation Network. I'm Mark Anthony, JD, the Psychic Explorer. I'm also known as the Psychic Lawyer. And I'm here with the one and only Dr. Pat Baccili, who is not only the founder of the Transformation Network, but my co-host and the host of the long-running, award-winning The Dr. Pat Show.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! And we are here for our 4th of July show, and our theme is Be a Firework, Let Your Colors Fly. So it's funny, Dr. Pat and I, we never talk about what we're going to wear, but we're both wearing red, white, and blue. And I mean, that was kind of predictable that we'd be wearing red, white, and blue. But this is a call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. And, you know, let your colors fly. This is a day of freedom. But, you know, it's interesting. The real day of freedom, we did that show a couple of weeks ago on Juneteenth. Because July 4th, yes, it's when the 13 colonies declared their independence from the British Empire. And sadly, millions of people were still living within the 13 colonies, which became the United States, as slaves. And it was on Juneteenth of 1865, June 19th, where the last vestiges of slavery were abolished in the United States. But it all started with the Declaration of Independence. And let me tell you, it has just been one heck of a 200 and almost 50-year ride. And it's an honor to be here in the United States. We're going through some tumultuous times, but that's the way of the world. So, Dr. Pat, talking about letting colors fly and expressing yourself, I can't think of a better person to talk about that than you.
You know, I was talking to Nat. Nat's our producer, everybody. Y'all talk to him. He introduces you. Today, Linda will be answering phones as well. But I was just reminiscing because Nat said to me, what song should we play during the show? Because we like to play something. So I said, how about, I don't even know if Nat, right. How about Jimi Hendrix live at Woodstock from August of 1969? Now, why would I come up with that? I remembered that event like it was yesterday. Y'all have to know me when I was like a youngster. Okay, just saying. But then I also remember July 4th of 1973. But just to give you a backdrop, I grew up, and I hope we don't ever channel her because she will take over the whole show. Mama Doris. You all hear me talk about Mama Doris. Mama Doris was an activist in her bones at a very young age. And so as kids, we were always introduced to marching and this and that. But honestly, we didn't even understand what we were doing. But Woodstock, when they let me out of the cage, meaning I would kick me out of the house at 17, OMG for me. And this particular time was very instrumental and important for me. It was the same year that I barely got to Woodstock. I don't care what you all read about Woodstock, but it was a mess, folks. I'm telling you. You may think it's glorious, but think mud, think not being able to find your car because your car is 10 miles away. I mean, just think those kinds of things, right? But it was memorable. And when you heard Jimi Hendrix And Janis Joplin, when you heard these artists on that stage, you cannot unhear it. So later on the show, we're going to give you a tip. Now, we're celebrating the 4th of July, and people have said to me, why, this is the feedback I'm getting, because it went out in the newsletter. Why are you doing that, Pat? And I looked at them like, what do you mean? Well, given the political tenure, la, 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 la. I said, come on now, people. What are you talking about? Independence is what this country was built upon. So you either stand up for what you believe in or you don't. And if you do nothing, that's kind of you don't. And I said, for us on this show, you've heard us talk about loss, grieving, addiction, abuse. We've touched on so many things that Mark and I care about, but we also care about our independence. You see, that was such an interesting question to me. Why would you two do a show about the 4th? Because it's the very history and the bone marrow of our freedom. And if
Yes.
we ever forget that, we are going to be like Nazi Germany. Now, Mama Doris used to say that too.
And protest is peaceful protest. Peaceful protest is a very American thing. The American Revolution, when you talk about the Boston Tea Party, which happened a couple of years before, I think it was in 1774, could have been 1775. And when I was in school, you hear about the Boston Tea Party. What happened is a bunch of colonists, revolutionaries, dressed up like Mohawk Indians, and they got on a number of British merchant ships and threw the cargo of tea overboard. And they made it seem like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. Well, upon further research, the price of the tea, the cost of the tea that they threw into Boston Harbor in today's dollars would be almost $1 billion. And by doing that, they wiped out the investments of a lot of British aristocrats. They bankrupted and seriously damaged financially a lot of extremely wealthy people. Somebody just texted me, it was 1773. So that is why the British came down so heavily upon the colonists. And when you look at revolutions around the world, the American Revolution was relatively conservative. It was about taxes. No taxation without representation. You look at the French Revolution, it's because, the kings of France were bleeding people white. The Russian Revolution, the czars treating people horribly, same thing. And America was about money. And, to this day, we're still arguing about money and taxes, but that's part of the American process. We can argue about it. We can talk about it. Maybe, hypothetically, let's say Congress, pass some disastrous bill that will affect millions of people. Well, there's always the next election where you elect people who can overturn those things. And so that's what is beneficial about protest, about discussion, about debate. That's what freedom is about.
Now, I want to make one last comment because I don't know. I mean, you all can get a sense that if I was Woodstock, you get a sense of how many generations I've been around the planet. So I just want you to hold that thought. I went back to my 50th reunion. So I want to tell everybody, you should really Google this. I went back to Plainfield High School. And I have to give Rodney, Gwen Cruz, I have to give those people hats off. They're involved in the city. But I will tell you, I was in high school in 1967 in the middle of the riots. Now, you need to Google Plainfield, New Jersey. And I already told you the story about why my mom moved there for me. Because I had grown up with people of color. I mean, honestly, I didn't even know what age it was that I didn't realize that I was different color. But I went back to that and I looked at these people that rebuilt Plainfield. But if you understood anything about what it means to protest, now clearly some people were brought in from out of town. However, that protest marked the beginning of awareness. Could it have been done without that protest? I don't know. Could it have been done? Well, here's what they should not have ever done, and that is killed Officer Gleason. But you see, what does it take? What did it take, South Africa? You see, I don't have all the answers. I've lived through enough of these, but I often wonder, and I've chatted with people, what would have happened if there weren't so many activists and protests back then? Kent, we lost students at Kent. I mean, I just don't understand. But let's start at the beginning. Do you consider the Tea Party nonviolent? A
No.
Boston Tea Party, people. Come on now, help me out
It
here.
was destructive. It was destructive. I mean, it wiped out it was over 700 million in today's dollars, 700 million
That's
dollars.
a lot of tea.
That's a lot of tea, and there were people in the court of George III that were like, "This simply is outrageous," and the British came down like a ton of bricks. But it all came down to this: is representative democracy. All the colonies wanted was to have each colony have a representative in Parliament, as opposed to Parliament imposing dictatorial, laws upon us. And it would have been very easy for the British to have said, okay, every colony is now going to have a representative in Parliament. And I read a book about Benjamin Franklin. And what happened was after the Boston Tea Party, he was the American representative in Parliament, and he was so berated and so verbally attacked and humiliated in Parliament that he was so angry he went back to the US, and that was the spark that lit the revolution.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, now we understand why this has happened, they really took it out on him. So Benjamin Franklin had quite a bit more to do with the revolution than a lot of people think.
Yeah.
And Franklin was a particularly fascinating character. He was Dr. Franklin. He was respected on both sides of the Atlantic. He was America's Leonardo da Vinci. He was a Renaissance man. He invented the battery. He discovered electricity. He was a printer, a statesman, ambassador to France. I mean, he was just an amazing person, but he was also one not to be crossed or humiliated in public. And that browbeating, that criticism of him, that led to him inciting the colonists to take up armed insurrection. So to me, violence is never good, but it seems to be part of humanity. And I think it's important for people to realize that we need to talk
Yeah.
as much as we need to listen. In this country right now, there's a polarization. Each side of the aisle thinks the other is bad, and they're not. It's just each side has different approaches to solving problems. And I hope we can finally get back to the days where, yeah, they're not going to agree on everything, but they can agree on the important things. So
Yeah.
anyway,
But let's go to break with this. Here's what I asked Nat if he could pull that picture of Gwen and just see if we could put a picture of her up. I also have pictures from our high school reunion. Here's what I woke up with this week, and especially last night and this morning. I'm not asking you to agree with my politics or with Mark's. That's not at this show. But when you cut Medicaid to the tune that we're talking about, think about people. Y'all know this is my 35th year of recovery, so I'm not speaking from a book. When you cut Medicaid, you're cutting the lifeline for people to save their lives. And so for me, I woke up this morning, and it's okay if y'all don't agree with me, but here's the point. It doesn't matter to me what you believe in. What are you doing about what you believe in? And I woke up this morning and I just built my new office here, and I came across a plaque that I put together a campaign called I Pledge to Vote. And I asked myself, what happened to that girl? And that was during the show, crust busting. So this today is raise the flag, but hold your head up high. Stand for what you believe in. It doesn't matter what hat you're wearing. This is our independence. We are free because many, many people gave us their best for us to even do a show like this. Nat, let's take a short break, then let's hit the phones. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Psychic in the Dock, 1-800-930-2819. We are taking your calls, and this is the show where we connect you with your loved ones and with love. You know, independence is also about love. You heard us talk about some crazy times in history, but part of independence is love. It's love for freedom. It's love for your country. You know, Mark and I got to interview one of the parliamentary members of the Ukraine. So we understand the passion and purpose of people. But this show is helping you connect to find that spot in your heart where you're actually open and we can help some strange way heal. Nat, who do we have first?
All right, our first caller today is going to be Trish from New York. Trish, welcome to the Psychic in the Dock. You are on right now with Mark and Dr. Pat. Happy 4th of July. Welcome to the show, Trish.
Good job, Nat. Hey, Trish, how are you?
I am good, and boy, I'll tell you, your messages certainly resonate. That most of us, as we look back at what guts and glory got us to where we are, is to have that love over fear, stand in our own independence and liberation.
Yeah. Oh, well said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that clip out and repost that. Thank you.
that was great, Trish.
That is so much better. You should have been on the intro segment with us because we didn't do as good a job as that. How can we help you today, Trish?
It's what I'm currently trying to do. So it resonates 100% from the heart. So
thank you so much.
Thank you guys for the time and doing this. And obviously on independence and liberation, I'm curious what the message is from the other side for the guidance. I'm kind of getting pulled into the messages and said to give a call in. So here I am.
Okay, let's see what we can make happen. Now, Mark is going to connect. Just hold your questions until Mark asks you, does this, whatever Mark says beautifully. But just, I don't want to break the connection with the spirit. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Trish, is your mom in spirit? And before you say anything, I'm getting a female energy connected to you through your female, meaning your maternal side of the family. And it doesn't have to be a mom. It could be an aunt. It could be a grandmother. But I get a mother figure, very much loving, like enveloping you with love, watches over you like a guardian angel. All right, now you can respond. Is your mom on planet Earth or in spirit?
My biological mom is here, but that is 100% my mother-in-law.
Okay, mother figure, mother-in-law. Okay, let's talk to her. What I'm getting with her is her cause of passing was not a quick event. It took some time. It seems like she was ill for a while, and oh my gosh, I feel like all my internal organs are just collapsing, decaying. I'm feeling pains in the back, in the chest area. So that indicates issues with lungs and heart. I mean, all of a sudden in my back, just right behind where my heart is, I'm feeling a tremendous amount of pain. And I'll tell you, this woman weathered that storm as elegantly and courageously as anyone possibly could. Does that make sense to you, Trish?
Mark, 100% that resonates. She had leukemia that the doctor said they've never seen that much cancer in someone. And when she came through a previous reading, the first time I ever was introduced to mediumship and my spiritual path, she told the person, my tires blew out.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Now, she is there, now it may not be her name, but it's someone else. It could be her or someone close to you or her. I'm hearing like an Ellie, Ellen. It could be Helen or Ellen. I'm getting like an Ellie, Ellen, Helen connected to you or her. So a lot of times when I get Helen or Ellen, it could also be like Elaine, because all those names have a common etymology. Is there anything there?
Well, a couple of those names could resonate. Any of those. I'm just not
in
sure
what
where she's going with it.
in what way? Don't worry about where she's going. In what way do those names make sense?
Well, like Ellie is a niece. Helen was a lady near a neighbor of hers that I went to visit.
Okay, is Helen still on planet Earth?
No.
Okay, so that means she's over there with Helen, and then she's referencing, when you said a niece, is that your niece or your mom's niece?
It would be my niece.
Your niece, okay. So that would be would that be your mother-in-law's granddaughter?
It'd be my sister. Nope, no, it would be my sister's daughter.
Hold on.
Oh, you know what? It's her granddaughter.
Yeah, that's why I hesitated because she was like, no, that's my granddaughter. Okay, so we've established we
Yep.
got your mom here. She said that right now you're spiritually going through a field of static. Now, that's an interesting term, static. You're making great progress, but it's kind of like you've hit a plateau and you're getting a bit frustrated, and that's what the static is. And she said, don't be frustrated, don't try so hard, take a step back, relax, breathe. She said, because the static is going to dissipate. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah, well, what happens in spiritual development is you'll be going along and you're doing really well, then all of a sudden you get kicked up a level, and it's like, woohoo! All right, and then boom, you'll hit what you perceive to be a block or a difficulty, and it's negotiating through that. It's just an energetic field. You're switching from one frequency to the next, and occasionally when you're between two frequencies, you get that static, and that's what's going on with you. And so she said, don't worry about it, it's going to be fine, keep sticking with it. Oh, last thing, she's handing you a bunch of rubies are the birthstone for the month of July. Of course, we're in July, so this could be a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to you, any of these spirits or someone close to you, planet Earth or in spirit, in July. Could be a piece of jewelry of significance you may recognize with rubies in it, but it could also be a name like Ruby, Rudy, or Robbie connected to you in any way. Anything there?
I have a rubber tree called Ruby.
Let's take that one. And that would.
Sorry, Mark. I'm sorry.
No, Dr. Pat, that's fine. That's what I call verifiable fact following a message. And when a spirit gives us a message of an explanatory advisory nature, which she was talking about the static and everything you're going through spiritually, but don't worry about it, you're going to get through it. And then the spirit follows that up with an objectively verifiable fact. Ruby, you have a rubber tree named Ruby. So the verifiable fact of the name Ruby is how the spirit, in this case, your mother-in-law, is letting you and I know we have properly received and interpreted the message before that. Dr. Pat.
I got to ask you a question. Okay, I have a giant rubber tree. I have not thought to name it, but Linda has been trying to get rid of my giant rubber tree since I got it. I mean, Nat knows what it looks like. It was in my office, and now it's here in my home office. And I have not named it. I'm going to name it. But do you know what the significance of a rubber tree is? This is why I grew this rubber tree. Do you know what it means? Can I tell you what it means? But before I do, let me ask you a question. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about your life? Do you feel stable? Do you feel a little jarry? How are you feeling about your potential abundance and prosperity? What's going on with that for you?
I'm
You don't
a
have to
little
answer
rubbery.
too personally. You don't have to be too personal. Like, give me a general sense.
I'm just feeling like a little rubbery, like a rubber
Exactly.
band, just bouncing back and forth, trying to navigate a lot of things and learn a lot of things to take the next step.
Okay, so your rubber tree. Okay, y'all, this is what I talked to my rubber tree. It's not in my room, and I have to find a room for it in my room. And Linda's probably shaking her head. So a rubber tree has a very strong spiritual message, and I'm going to tell you what it is. It is a feng shui thing, right, Mark? Right, feng shui. It's
Yes.
and it's seen as the symbol of prosperity. So when I wanted to bring my rubber tree in the bedroom, okay, that was one of those moments. Are you off your wagon? Did you start drinking again? Okay, no. But what is the part of your house that, can I ask you, where is the rubber tree? Which part of your house? When you walk in your front door, where's the rubber tree? Left or right?
To the right.
Okay. If it's to the right, is it in the left corner of the room it's in?
Yes.
Good. Rubber tree, Bagua Feng Shui is the left corner of the home, right? Or it could be of a room. But here's the thing, it's placed in your wealth corner. It doesn't mean wealth money, but wealth provides for so many people, Trish, stability. Now, I'm going to give you an exercise. Like Mark says, don't worry about the no-no-nos. I want you to ask your rubber tree for help every day. I don't know if you pray. I don't know what your spiritual practices are. Believe me, I talk to Ganesh, God, anybody listens to me. But I want you to have a conversation with Ruby, but not about complaining. Are you following me? What I want you to say, Ruby, I'm going to give you a version, make up your own. Ruby, I want to thank you for all the abundance and stability you've provided me with. You know, the rubber tree represents the earth element. So thank you, Ruby, for all the stabilizing energy. Do you have enough life where you are? Are you getting enough water? And are you feeling my love, Ruby? And I mean for you to do this, not in any 70 times a day, but I really want you to think about this tree and how resistant it is, right? Can you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And if you have other people in the house,
Thank you.
just tell them to leave the room. This is between you and Ruby, okay? The last thing I'm
Yeah,
going to
trust
tell
me.
you is this. I write little prayers and I put them down. And when I had that tree in my office, I would put the little note or post it in the tree. If you don't think that's too far out, I encourage you to do it. That's your offering to
No,
the
I think
tree.
Ruby and I can certainly work on wealth, but it's WELLTH.
Yeah, I'm will. Look, it's not just about money. See, this rubber tree is about resilience and strength. You know, it's that earth energy. It's okay. Now you get my Capricorn. It's the earth energy. It's stability. So it isn't money. It's energy and
Right.
harmony and connection. Connect with Ruby more.
Yep.
Thank you, Trish. You
Thank
got
you.
this going.
Thanks,
You got to
Trish.
tell, you got to call and let
Yep.
us know how that goes for you. And thank you for reminding me to do the same for my rubber tree because I have not been treating it kindly and I'm going to move it.
Mark, during one of the breaks, can you talk a little bit more about if people sign up? I heard something on your website about a group reading type thing, and like, does that break down by minutes, or how do you do that? So if you could, sometimes
Go to my
somewhere.
website. Go to my website. Go to the calendar of events, and you can scroll through
Okay.
that, and you'll find it. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yep. And for those of you that
Perfect.
keep
Thank you.
emailing me, Unstuckable, we've got to do the final trademark with it. And then we're going to be creating circles, not doing what Mark does. That I got to leave that up to Mark, but pretty much doing what I
Oh,
think I could do. So, Mark, go ahead. Sorry.
Awesome. Thank
no,
you.
I was going to say, oh, and Trish, go ahead and when you go to my website, sign up for the newsletter
Yes.
because I've got a newsletter going out tomorrow. It's a happy 4th of July, but it'll also have my upcoming events, which includes the online light circle. And for everybody listening, I invite you to sign up for my newsletter by visiting my website, which is afterlifefrequency.com. Next week, I will be in Houston. I'm going to be doing 2 evenings of spirit communication at Body, Mind, and Soul of Houston. It's all there on my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Pat, what do you
Yeah.
say?
Let's go to Lisa. And by the way, let me see if I could text Beyonce to show up at your event. Lisa, let's go, Nad. Who do we have next?
All right. Lisa from St. Louis, you are our next caller. So, Lisa, welcome to the Psychic in the Dock. You are on with Mark and Pat right now. Welcome to the
Yeah.
show, Lisa.
Come on, Lisa. How are you?
Oh,
What can we do for you? What's
I'm
going on?
I'm good.
You sound
I
good.
just am excited to be on. Yeah, I ran across Mark's on some podcast, and was really like amazed because this subject is something I've been really drawn to, and so I downloaded or bought the Audible book on Amazon, the Afterlife Frequency, and I've been
Wow.
listening to it, just consuming it, and just really it's helped me with my grieving process.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Yeah.
yeah, it's been remarkable, and it's something because I've always felt that was like this frequency and this connection, and actually when I was a kid, I always thought that we should have a telephone that could talk to people, on the other side. And as I got older, I started thinking we should have an app, and so when I ran across
An app.
Martin talking about an app, yeah, like on the phone,
Well,
so
that would be
anyway,
me.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the app.
We are
Yeah.
developing an app here, and it's not going to be that we can never replace Mark, but it's going to have something really similar. You're not far out. Listen, I'm 6 years old. I got a little fake phone, and back then the phones looked horrible. They are not what we have today. And I'm telling
Right.
you, I used to call Jesus. I used to call anybody that I could think of. I'm telling you, I would call Howdy Doody. It didn't matter to me because I'm on the spectrum, so I'm a little autistic. But my
Mm,
autism is very different. I am classified as a very strange form of it. I did do all the
mm.
rocking. They gave me a rocking horse and a punching bag. But the bottom line I'm trying to tell you, you can speak and call anybody you want. I think we should start to give away like little plastic phones on this. Now, how can Mark
Yeah.
help you today connect?
I'd like to connect with someone on the
Okay.
other side.
Okay.
Okay. Linda, I'm picking up on a
Lisa.
male. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Hmm.
Sorry, Lisa. I keep hearing the name Linda though, so there could be a Linda in spirit. So that's a
Okay.
possibility.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm picking up on a male energy. And this
Okay.
male energy connected to you seems like he could be on your generational level or the one below it. So that could be like a sibling, cousin, spouse, friend, or this could be a younger male. And what I'm getting with him is I feel like my lungs are almost exploding. That's a strange sensation. But the weird thing is, like, I feel my lungs are expanding, but all of a sudden I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. So there was something going on which was throwing him into like pulmonary failure. And I still feel the lungs had stopped, but I'm still feeling the heart going bump, 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 like that. So his heart and lungs were completely out of sync, and I'm feeling massive surge of blood pressure into my head, and an inability to breathe. Interesting. So this could be some type of illness problem with the lungs. This could also be some type of asphyxiation or strangulation, because all of those different causes of death have a similar physical sensation to me. Now I'm getting this tingling sensation running down the whole right side of my face. Interesting. Wow. And whatever this cause of death was, Lisa, it came on like lightning. All right. Does anything there
Hmm.
make sense to you?
It all makes sense, but that there was a male energy doesn't, because that's exactly what happened to my mom.
Interesting. Interesting. No, I'm getting a
It was
male
fast.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fast. It was. She said she couldn't breathe. Um, we found out it was her heart stopped, and then we found out maybe it was blood clots. Um,
Well,
but
hold
it was my
that.
mother.
Well, that's okay. We could have more than one spirit here, because all that's making sense. Because I don't want to say I'm never wrong on the gender, but I don't recall being wrong. Is there a male energy on your level, or the one by your level means your generation, or the one below you who has also passed and who passed very abruptly or unexpectedly?
Yes, my cousin. Mhm.
Your cousin, okay?
Mhm.
It's like one day here, one day not. One day here, one
Yes.
day not. I feel like the slamming
Yes.
sensation. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
He was in a car crash. Yep.
car crash. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Um, did he have a kind of a wicked or just an outrageous sense of humor?
Yes.
Okay, so the reason that I was feeling these two sensations is they're both here. We got your cousin and we got your mom. It's funny because they're talking about Ernest. Now it could be I'm Ernest as an honest, but it could be a name like Earl or Ernest or Ernestine. But I'm hearing a sound that sounds like Ernest or Ernst. Anything there makes sense. Or what does Ernest resonate with you as?
Mm, Ernest. I don't know. Mm,
That's okay. That's
Ernest.
okay. And this is a weird thing they're talking about. Two different sized feet. Is there somebody connected to you that may have like a foot, like a half a size larger than the other foot?
Yeah.
Okay. I loved your answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who might that be?
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
who might
gosh.
That
who
would
might that?
that would be my wife.
Ah,
She has like a
okay.
bigger
Wow.
foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all right, so we got mom coming in now, and she is yeah. What was going on with her is there was no saving her in this
Okay.
situation. I'm
Okay.
getting God, everything. It's like all of a sudden everything in her body went wrong. Now I'm getting this electrical sensation running along the bottom of my jaw on the left side. So there was neurological, there was pulmonary, there was cardiac,
Mm,
there was blood surges, there was high blood pressure, and
mm,
she said that was it. That was it. That was time. That was it.
mm,
But it didn't seem like it was an immediate thing. She keeps giving me 14, 14, 14. I mean, the whole episode could have taken like 14 hours. It could be the 14th of any month, but she keeps giving me 1 4, 1 4, 1 4. That could be 1,
mm.
4, 14, or 41. All right, anything there makes sense.
Just that 1 plus 4 is 5, and she died on the 5th. I don't know. That's the only
Okay.
thing I think of. 14. And
Okay, so we'll make a
what?
note of that. When did how long was it between the time she started having these symptoms and she passed?
Oh gosh, I don't know because I was just caught up in trying to figure out what when we were at the nail shop. She just stood up and was like, "I can't breathe," and we called the ambulance. Went to the. Ooh, I don't. Let's see if I could say it was maybe from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, or
Okay.
two
All right, so
o'clock to seven
that's all
o'clock.
right.
It was
So we
something.
got something in there. Now, so we got her here. Let's see what her message for you is. Wow. She said, stop taking yourself so seriously. She goes, you've always done that. Even when you were a little girl, she said, you were always overthinking, beating yourself up. She said, relax. She said,
Okay.
and it's not that, she's saying it just doesn't matter. It doesn't mean like nothing in life matters. She said, but too many of the things that you worry about just don't matter. She goes, and she said, and when I was in your world, I was the same way. I would obsess and focus on things. She goes, and then when you cross into spirit, you realize, I was always worrying about money. I was always worrying about this. I was worrying about that. I was worrying about none of those things matter. She goes, all that does matter are the people you love and that they know you love them. That's her
Mm,
message for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
mm.
Go
Mm.
ahead, Dr.
Wow.
Pat.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean,
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you for
Beautiful.
calling in today about this. It is a beautiful message. I often wonder when I hear things like that, especially from such a dear loved one, right? If there's something
Hmm.
underneath the message. And the thing that came up for me is how you doing taking care of yourself there, Lisa?
I think I'm doing pretty good.
Okay,
I
good.
think I think I've prioritized self-care. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm
And
doing pretty good.
okay. And is this the grieving you want helped heal?
Um, Yeah, it's like I feel like I've had some communication and messages from her, and I just kind of today I wanted just some confirmation because it's like
Hmm.
I guess I get into not trusting myself, and
Yeah.
it's like, is that really her? So I'll ask her to fly a bird or ask for some kind of sign that I can know that this is
Uh-huh.
her, that
Mark,
she's
right?
giving me these
You're trying
messages.
too
Yeah.
hard. You're trying too hard. Give me
Yeah.
a sign.
Yeah.
Give me a
Mhm.
bird. I'm overemphasizing. Sorry, Dr. Pat. I didn't mean to
Mhm.
jump in.
No, you're
But
right. That's exactly what I was going to
yeah,
get to. Go ahead,
go ahead.
Mark.
Well, it's in my book I talk about the no 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 syndrome, and part of that is I want, I
Okay.
want, I want, because it's the same angst. When you flood the energetic field with I want this, without getting all biblical, it's like
Mhm.
when Jesus was essentially on trial and Pontius Pilate didn't want to deal with it, so he sent him over to Herod Antipas, and Herod said,
Mhm.
perform a miracle, make something happen in the sky, do something to prove that you are the Messiah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. I
And
get it.
Jesus, yeah, and
Mhm.
Jesus didn't. Yeah, so it's the same principle. All right, sorry, Dr. Pat, back to you.
No, that's exactly what I wanted to leave you with because one, you have to trust yourself. You really,
Mhm.
that's the core message for you today. The second part of it is like Mark said, I was listening to one of my spiritual preacher, whoever, I listen to everybody, but this message today was that God, spirit, whatever you believe in, uh, when we are busy, God rests, which means God, spirit, Ganesh, whoever you believe in, they rest.
Mhm.
But when you're at peace and you rest, they go to work for you. And that's what
Mm.
this is about.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you
Yes.
have to get to that place of protecting your peace, and the
Ooh.
answers will flood
Okay.
in.
Ooh, powerful. Thank you. Yes.
That's
Okay.
it.
That's been coming through for me. That's been coming through for me
Yeah,
about
there you go.
protecting my peace and being, and so that I can that the true way that I will connect with the other side, not just my mom, but to start to dissolve these veils would be to lift my vibration. And the way to lift my vibration is to be peaceful. So this all makes so much sense. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Okay, good. Because that's really it. I want to get you so, like, I'm not telling you to transform your whole inside out, but I'm saying you got to take some time and protect that part
Mhm.
of you, that peace, because God and spirit work when we're at rest, right? See, that's when
Mm.
they go to
Yeah.
work to help us, right? But if we're like busy,
Mhm.
busy, do it, worry, 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 our minds are like going crazy, they don't know what to
Mhm.
do. Okay. Have a
Got it.
What are you doing for the fourth? You're going to have some fun a little bit, maybe?
I'm having some fun. A lot of family members are in town. On
Nice.
my dad's side of the family, he's still here with us, and we're all gonna be hanging out. So yeah.
Hanging out is the way to roll. Thank you
Sounds
so much
great.
for calling
Thank
in.
thank you, Lisa. God bless you.
Have a great weekend.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well,
Okay.
you
Bye bye.
bet. That's my little nugget that I got this week from my little spiritual journey this week. And I can't remember. I think it was Joel Osteen. I think I was listening to one of his little deals. And he told this story about how this place of peace, we have to get to this place of peace. So, just like you, Mark, what you do, right? That's why you have to be at a place of peace. And so do the
Yeah.
people calling in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are not going to hear the message because if there's all this, all that noise, it's very hard to determine one, are there any messages? And two, what the heck are they, right?
That's a good point, Dr. Pat. I've had a couple people call, they want a reading and they say, well, until I hear this one thing, I won't believe you. And I immediately say, I'm not doing the reading for you. Okay. And what it is, I want, I want, I want, I want. I remember I did a reading for somebody and I got something like 75 pieces of evidence that were all verified, But until I hear this one thing, and I said, well, why do you think you're not hearing the one thing? It's because I want, I want, I want. I go, what about all the other things, you know? And then they start looking at that like, oh, because you got to realize when we're engaging in spirit communication, we're contacting another dimension, and it's all vibration and frequency. And if you put this energetic block, it's going to prevent the communication. Now, that energetic block can apply and hinder us in many ways. And you were talking about that, you know, like with the last caller, you know, and putting up blocks in herself, and the first caller putting up the static. It's like when you put too many demands on yourself or you beat yourself up. I mean, isn't that part of your philosophy of unstuckable?
Oh my God, it so is. And, you know, that's a word I made up. I made the word up. It doesn't exist. It's not an English language, but you know, that's of course my pattern
It will
is,
be.
yeah, you know, but the bottom line with Unstuckable is it really talks about the many different points in my life and everybody else's life where we've had to learn to move beyond whatever that challenge is, whatever that obstacle is. You know, I have a friend right now who had an accident and hurt himself very badly, nerves, everything. He fell, I think, off a ladder. And I've been watching him try to replay table tennis. He was a very good table tennis player. And he started to play with his left hand. So he was teaching himself. But I heard last weekend or a weekend ago that he decided not to continue. And I've often thought about that for myself. And so I was going to pick up the phone and call him because many of you may think, what's the big deal? Right hand, left hand. No, it's retraining and relearning everything. But sometimes when you feel like you're on the verge of losing something extremely important to you, you need the family support, Mark. And I have no idea how you came up with Ruby and that other thing you came up with. I'm always in awe of what you do. Mark, what's your personal message? And please, people want to know, how did they get the book? How did they get the audio version? Bring it home for us today.
Yeah, well, I'm in the middle of a U.S. tour, and next week I'll be in Houston at Body, Mind, and Soul for 2 nights. That'll be July, I believe, 11th and 12th. It's going to be Friday and Saturday of July 11th and 12th. And I'll be doing spirit communication events. And you can find out about everything I'm doing by visiting my website, which is afterlifefrequency.com, and sign up for my newsletter. I got one going out tomorrow. It'll give you all the tour dates coming up for the next couple months. I got a real busy tour date, and every week I'm going to be here with Dr. Pat. The Psychic and the Doc will go on despite all my traveling. So
it does go on. And for those of you out there, you heard the way we opened the show, but this is your pathway. We still do live in a country where our freedom is still our freedom, although it may not seem like that. But when you think about that, think about what that feels like. You get up, you can go to your door, you can watch television, you could get in your car. And some people can do that more abundantly than others. But we have the right to choose. So do many other cultures. But today, on this day, Independence Day, not the little scary movie there with what's his name?
oh, Will Smith. Yeah,
Will
the
Smith.
alien invasion.
Love that movie. Love that movie. But this is a day to really, in the spirit of that movie, is to fight what you believe in. But fight is a strange word. Love what you believe in. Right, Mark?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is the message we'll end the show with. Freedom is loving what you believe in.
I love it. Thank you all. Thank you, Nat, for everything. Thanks to our producers, Linda Firing and Rocky, for what they do and what they put together and how they organize this. And I want to thank all of you out there because you have been extremely supportive of us and other listeners. And so much of what Mark and I do is really for all of you. We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Happy 4th.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.